All right, you know what this is, you know what you clicked, you know why you're here. I'm gonna show the box quickly. This actually comes in a brown shipper box within a heavier duty brown shipping box. So basically you're gonna open that and then you're gonna get the shipper case, and then you're gonna open that and you're gonna get this. Looking very nice. Definitely got the artwork out of House of X. So really cool. Nice look on the back too. All right, not wasting any time, let's get right in. All right, so a couple of things right off the bat. We're gonna have to approach this review a little differently, just down to the fact that this figure is so large that I have to be so far away from the table to even be able to like get him in a shot. So yeah, I guess we'll start here. This figure stands roughly 26 to 26 and a quarter inches tall. So I reviewed the Mezco King Kong recently, the giant one, and this one is substantially larger than that. So yeah, you're dealing with a giant figure here. And since we're already talking about size, I don't want to keep anybody waiting. Here are your average run-of-the-mill 6-inch, about standard size Marvel Legends figures. And here's the Sentinel. Now once again, I've had to pull the camera even farther back to be able to fit him entirely in frame and show you just how large this thing is. So yeah, if you were worried that it might be a little bit too small, he isn't. So this is the head you get out of box. You can see that it's painted very nicely. Not too much splatter or anything like that from what I can tell. There is some texturing inside the mouth. It does appear to twist, at least all the way side to side. You do get not too much up, actually. That's about as far as it goes. Down to about here. So you are going to need to utilize his mid-range, mid-section articulation to be able to get him to look like up or down, should you want to do that. So down to the chest, the torso, you can see like there's big cabling and wires and stuff painted in here. These two larger ones right around the ab region are very nicely textured. Very cool. I do like that. There is an ab crunch in there. You can see the joint kind of bending right there. So you will be able to get him down roughly about that far. So nothing too crazy in the abs. Stood straight up, he's probably about, you know, like that. And leaning back, you're not going to get a ton, unfortunately, out of that. I think that may be down to housing some of the electronics and some of the just sheer size of the figure. They maybe didn't want you to be able to bend it too far forward or back because it might not be able to support its own weight at that point. Just my guess. But you also do get a diaphragm joint here, which gives you a little bit of twist. I'm not sure how much forward and back it's going to give you. Mine is fighting me on that, so I'm not going to try and do too much with it, but it does look like it is there, so I'm not sure. If you want to press it, go ahead. I'm going to leave mine alone for now. Let's get to the arms. Alright, so at the arms, you are going to get a swivel at the shoulder. Now you do have this piece that's like a shoulder pad that is connected. It's like tabbed in, but it's actually tabbed into the arm itself, kind of similar to like the Tiger Stripe Wolverine. So you will be able to bend his arm all the way up over his head. So yeah, you can pretty much spin the arm. It looks like most of the way, yeah, the entire way around. And this piece will not be hindered because it's attached to the arm itself and not to the like the traps. You will also get a little bit of range in the elbows. It doesn't appear to be anything too crazy. These bicep and tricep pieces I think are add-ons to it. So it looks like when you do try and push for range, you do end up getting a little bit of movement out of that. So I'm able to get about 90 degrees from it, which not bad for a figure of this size. You do get as well a rotation at the bicep, so you do have that going for you. And that actually works pretty much the whole way around too, so not too bad there. So moving down the arm, there is no twist at the forearm the way some figures have. However, you do get that same function down here at the wrist. This wrist will twist pretty much the entire way around. No issues there. And you will also have a hinge to be able to bend the wrist forward and back, or up and down, however you want to pose his wrist. There is also this armor piece here, which is movable, which is nice because if you want to get his arm shifted up forward like that, you can do that and the armor piece will not hinge in its way. So if you want to get him shooting his cable or blasting, whatever you want to do, go for it. Something I want to show really quickly is that this hand actually does pop right out, and you are able to replace it with the battle damaged hand, which is missing fingers. It's not articulated the way the regular hand is, which we'll get to. So you can fit that right in there, and you can display your Sentinel as if he's just come out of a knockdown, drag out brawl with some renegade mutants, I guess. I don't know. So I removed the hand to be able to show you the full articulation, but just for size purposes, here it is inside my hand. So pretty substantial. About half the size of my hand, so, you know, your mileage will vary, I guess. You do get a joint inside the thumb that is able to make it opposable, so really cool. And inside each finger, you will get swivels at the base, and you will get individual digit joints to be able to bend him at the 2 knuckles. So you can basically pose this guy, you know, being naughty, or you can pose him, you know, making a fist. So yeah, there's a nice fist right there. Pretty much anything you can do with your own hand, this guy can do. And now that I've said that, I realize there's some things that you might do with your own hand that you probably shouldn't do with this. So I got him here with his arms up about as wide as you're going to be able to get them. You might be able to push it a little bit more, but I don't really feel like doing that at the moment. This is about as far as they'll go before they start giving you a little bit of resistance. So yeah, pretty decent range in the arms, and like I said, they rest nicely down at his sides as well. So if you want them kind of vanilla pose, just looking really, really imposing, that's definitely an option for you. Mine just looked like he tipped over a little bit, so might have to go to the legs next. Alright, so I'm moving on down to the leg here. You are going to get a little bit of range from the leg that you might not expect, because his like kind of hip, crotch, ass overlay is like a softer rubbery plastic. So you can actually like flex a little past that. But basically, it looks like you're going to be able to get about that far forward out of the leg, which is nice, but you can see it has a hard time supporting his weight. Now, if I didn't stress upon you enough already, this is not a light figure. This is not a cheap plastic by any means. This is it's a stocky boy. You will also get a double jointed knee, which functions pretty well. You'll get about, I mean, it's greater than 90 degrees out of it, which is pretty substantial for a guy this size and this bulky. You will also get a twist up at the hip, which is standard in Marvel Legends, and as you twist, you'll notice there's more wiring and stuff painted in there and a lot of tubes and hoses. Hopefully it's coming out on camera because it's actually pretty nicely textured. I like it. Inside the knees, you've got some like gear mechanics and some like exhaust vents or something going on right here at the bottom of the thigh. Really cool. So from the foot, as you can see down here, you do get this little overlay piece, I guess, whatever this is called. Basically like his shoelaces. I don't know what this would be. Just a little bendy thing. But you do get a decent amount of range out of the ankle itself. Now, it does have a little bit of a swivel as well. It appears to also have a little bit of an ankle rocker. Nothing too crazy. But in conjunction with the hinge and with the swivel, you might be able to get this guy into some pretty interesting poses. Now, I'm afraid to push this any farther or to try and like get his weight like down on this anymore. But he's actually pretty flexible. Like, he's destroying Johnny Cage right now. So let's take a look at some of the accessories he comes with. Now, this is the stock head that he comes with out of the box, and I was showed a little bit of the detail, but it's nice to be able to see like inside, underneath the faceplate, like kind of inside where like the mouth and jaw would be. There are some nice painted wires and some sculpted texturing and everything, which is really cool. Something I noticed when I pulled the head off is, you can probably see it in there, there is a sculpting like of wiring and some gears and different things going on inside there, which is a nice touch. They didn't have to do that, but since they did, I kind of wonder why they didn't just paint a little layer over it. But you can see inside, I mean, you might be able to see at least on this side here, his eye does have small openings to be able to access the lights, which we'll get to. But for now, let's take a look at the other heads. So here's the first one that I want to look at, which is the battle damaged head, which is really nicely done. Same paint scheme, but it does have like a lot of cracking and damage and dents, and the whole top of the head is basically sliced open, and you got like brain wires and different things going on up there. Really nice. His whole bottom half of his like jaw is totally missing over here, and you've got like frayed wires and all kinds of stuff. And you even see like inside the mouth there where it's pulling down on the metal armor piece. You've got the wire kind of like leaning out of his mouth too, which is nice. And not really much to speak of on the back as far as battle damage. There's a few dents, but besides that, nothing much. Now again, on the inside here, it may be a little difficult to see, but he does have one hole for the light to be able to shine through, and that's going to be coming out of this eye. So because of the damage I guess he sustained to this eye, it's a solid piece that looks like it's totally like metal and completely destroyed. So that'll be a cool effect. Here is the Master Mold head, which honestly I think looks pretty nice. Now, some people kind of had their issues with Master Mold being a part of this back when this was added in, but I don't mind it. I mean, it gives some variety, and if you're the type of collector who has like older Sentinels laying around, you can make this Master Mold and use your smaller ones for just the regular Sentinels. But I do like the detailing on it. He's got like a much different looking head. It's much larger and heavier. This is like a solid piece of plastic, like come on. Really cool detailing and texturing on the faceplate as well as piping in the eyes once again, which you can see a little bit more clearly inside him. I like what they've done with the colors and everything too. He's got like the little like orb things on top of his head and on the side of his ears and everything like that. So this is nice. I do like this. And lastly, we come to the Tri-Sentinel, which is the one that kind of confused people, I think, the most. It's basically just 3 Sentinel faces on one head. Now, each of the faces does have some differences. So this one's got like a weird kind of like TIE fighter looking thing in his mouth. This one's got like laser cannons, and this one is just like a silver faceplate instead of the 2 gold ones. It's interesting, but the Tri-Sentinel also had like many more arms than the regular Sentinel, so this is not necessarily the most accurate thing in the world, but I guess as an add-on, it's kind of cool. I don't know. I don't particularly need this, but I guess I'm glad it's in here just in case somebody does want it. So for the record, here he is with his head popped off. It's just a regular, like, kind of Marvel Legends style ball at the top. You do have to be a little careful. I, like, kind of wiggled mine off a little bit, just because this piece of plastic is obviously thin and transparent to be able to house the lighting. But, yeah, I mean, pops on, pops off fairly easily. A little bit of force because of the size of the guy, but yeah, once it's on, it's on. It's sturdy, stable. You do have to remove the back plate if you want to put the batteries in, which is this piece right here. And I realized I didn't really show the back before, so that's what this looks like. So this piece is firmly in there, but it does pop out. I just took it off off camera, and you can see there's a Phillips head screw in there. You just pop this out, 2 AAA batteries, and then you pop this back in, and you're ready to rock. Right, okay, so I've dimmed the lights here a little bit, in fact, all the way. And then what you do, you tap the chest, the big circle on his chest, and BOM! You get the lights. Now, the first time you press them, it'll cycle through and kind of like give you like a yellowish color. The second time you do it, I believe it's green. Yes, okay, so you'll get a green light. And then the third time you press it is, in my opinion, the coolest one is when it turns like bright red. Yeah, he's a menace. You can see even with kind of cheap batteries like I got, it does hold pretty nicely. You'll be able to pick that up if you're taking photos or whatever you're doing with it. Definitely very cool. It is on a timer, so it should be going at like any second here. But yeah, oh, there we go. But yeah, it's definitely a cool feature. I can appreciate this. Here's the Tri-Sentinel head, and as you can see, it does light up the front pretty well, but because of the way the lighting is, it doesn't actually light up the heads on either side, which is kind of a bummer. But I mean, like I said, this head doesn't really mean a ton to me, so I'm not that mad about it. So, as I was putting on the battle damage head, I want to say, breaking news, he does actually have some rotation at the neck, too. You can see it kind of twisting in there a little bit. Of course, now it's not going to. It's just going to spin the head around because I'm on camera. Don't embarrass me. There we go. Okay, we got it. But yeah, does have that, too. So here's the battle damage head, which you can see the one eye is illuminated and the other one is not. That's a really cool effect, actually, now that I'm looking at it on camera. Yeah, I can get behind that. And lastly, here's Master Mold all lit up. And I gotta say, I like this. Probably actually like it more than I thought I was going to initially. Yeah, good on you, Hasbro. I like the Master Mold. Little 2-in-1 deal right here. This is the size comparison between this new Haslab Sentinel and the original Toy Biz Marvel Legends Build-A-Figure Sentinel, which for its time was an excellent figure. In fact, I still think it's an excellent figure. This guy, to me, still holds up. However, I do think we have a new standard here. That said, anybody got the right arm and the upper torso for one of these guys cheap? Let me know. I'm almost done with the second one. But my reason for showing these guys here in this form is because this is how it would look if you had Master Mold compared to standard Sentinels. Now, I know there was also a Hasbro version of the Sentinel that came out in the Marvel Universe line, and it came out with Old Man Logan, I think. Or, well, Days of Future Past Wolverine, which is just, it's an old man named Logan, but it's not Old Man Logan. It's a whole thing. Just in case you're wondering, here's how this looks. I like this. Color-wise, this guy looks a lot more beat up because Toy Biz was doing a lot more gritty kind of scuffing and shading on the paintwork, whereas Hasbro keeps things pretty clean and bright. So aesthetically, they don't necessarily look like they belong together. I think you might be better off with the other Hasbro Sentinel for that. But yeah, I like it. All right, the last accessory that we need to go over is he comes with 2 of these Restraint tendril things. Now you always see the Sentinel kind of like shoot out these cables, and it always wraps around the X-Men and, you know, electrocutes them or whatever. The Toy Biz Sentinel had them. This one has them too. These ones come straight out of his hand. It's not like the Toy Biz ones where they were kind of like on an angle so they shot forward. But you can see they support their own weight pretty well. And the bendy wire works really, really nicely, I gotta say. Oh God, he's gonna fall. But yeah, the bendy wire works pretty well. You can see it's able to coil up pretty tightly around a figure, so You shouldn't have a problem capturing some wayward mutant that's trying to get away. So yeah, I mean, this is really rudimentary, but you shouldn't have any problem getting this tendril around it. Oh god, he's gonna fall. Had to reposition the legs a little bit, but yeah, you shouldn't have any problem getting this tendril around one of the X-Men figures you have, and you know, then you can shoot them with eye lasers. Whatever you want to do. It's your toy. Do whatever you want. So last but not least, although actually probably least if I'm thinking about everything we just went over, we get the 2 pack-in figures, which is Bastion and a Sentinel Prime female version. Both of these figures have brand new upper body sculpts. You got like some molding there on Bastion's like ribs for like the gold, I don't know if those are like buckles or whatever on his costume, but he's also got like a sentinel like opening in his chest, which is pretty cool. Both have pretty standard Marvel Legends articulation, so I'm not going to bore you too much with that. There are some new parts though, which I do appreciate, and yeah, I'm into this. And it should also be noted that Bastion does come with like a standard Sentinel Prime male head. So if you're somebody who army built, you could have like one Bastion in command of all your Sentinels, including like a few of these guys and a few of this lady here, and knock yourself out. So overall, final thoughts. This guy, I mean, he's gonna stand out in your collection. It's tough to justify whether it's worth the $350 asking price from Haslab. Now, I get that a lot of that went into the tooling and the creation of it, so I'm not actually mad about the price. I'm not going to sit here and say it's, you know, too much money or whatever the case, because I understand what had to go into this figure effort-wise to even make it happen. That said, I think asking for $350 up front and then not delivering the figure for a year might have actually helped me appreciate the money spent a little more. So yeah, now he's got the lights on, so he's talking some truth. Basically, spending all that money a year ago, like, I don't know, to me personally, I can think of it like, yeah, all right, I spent it, it's gone. And now, over a year later, just over a year, you know, this gets delivered today. I am very happy with it. I've been messing with it pretty much since right before I started shooting the review. In fact, I put an Instagram post up where I basically made it like seem like I announced that I was a new dad, and unfortunately, like, you know, I thought it was funny, but I think some people maybe didn't swipe to the second picture. So I think there are people out there that legitimately think that I am like a new father. So if you're one of those people, sorry, I'm not, but you know, gotcha. Overall though, this thing, yes, very imposing, very cool, fairly articulated as I showed, which I think I was kind of expecting because the Marvel Legends line kind of is known for being really posable. But this guy, as big as he is, he surprised me. Now, he is a heavy figure, as I pointed out earlier, so just be aware of where you put this. If he falls, it's not going to be quiet, and he's probably going to take a lot of collateral damage with him. Overall, though, that's just my thoughts. I'm very happy with this. Hopefully, if you're somebody who ordered it, you got yours and you're also very happy with it. Basically now, the biggest question I have is, now that I own it, what am I going to do with it? And once I answer that question, I got to ask myself, what am I going to do with the second one that I got sitting in the living room that I didn't even open yet? See, I bought 2 of these. Originally, one was going to be to keep, and the second one was going to be to think about maybe selling, but basically also keep because I knew in my heart that I probably wasn't going to sell it. So now I got 2, and I got to figure out what I'm going to do with them. So that's my dilemma. Let me know what you think. Did you get one? Did you get several? What are your thoughts? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Let's talk. Thank you for watching this. My name is Captain McKay. I'll turn this on one more time for the outro. So check my channel for stop motions, different figure reviews, little behind the scenes stuff here and there. It's all good. It's all fun. We have fun here. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Later on.